Finally, it's official. Jaron Boots Ennis will headline Matchroom's November 9th card in Philadelphia by defending his IBF welterweight title against IBF's mandatory Karen Chukadzian, whom he had dominantly defeated in 2023 to become the interim champion. Jesse Bam Rodriguez will co-headline the card after signing a multi-fight contract extension with Matchroom by defending his WBC Super Flyweight title versus WBC interim champion Pedro Guevara. Another fight which is yet to be announced officially is Gervonta Davis vs Lamont Roach Jr. According to the new reports, this fight will take place on December 21st in Washington DC, USA, the same date as the Alexander Usyk vs Tyson Fury rematch is set for Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Devin Haney mocks him for fighting Roach Jr. and Davis immediately fires back. Then Davis also taunts him when Haney lashes out at Eddie Hearn in a series of explosive tweets after not receiving free tickets for Joshua vs Dubois card. Eddie Hearn also fired back during the fights, and then Haney somehow made it into Wembley Stadium and both went at it at ringside during Joshua vs Dubois. In the record-breaking attendance of 98,128 fans, Daniel Dubois knocked Anthony Joshua down in round 1, in round 3 and in round 4 before knocking him out in round 5 to defend his IBF heavyweight world title. Stunning win as Dubois utterly destroys AJ, rocks Wembley Stadium and legitimizes himself as a true heavyweight world champion. Right after his win, Big Bang Zhang calls him out with a video, and other important figures in combat sports also shares their reactions to the main event. In the post-fight interview, Daniel Dubois declared that he wants to rematch Alexander Usyk, but then Eddie Hearn revealed that Joshua has a rematch clause and he may activate it. Hearn also shares another possibility for Joshua's next fight and said that they may now try to make Anthony Joshua vs Tyson Fury next if Fury loses to Alexander Usyk again in the rematch. Tyson Fury, who was also ringside, spoke on this situation and said that Joshua cost him $150 million with this loss, seemingly scuppering their fight for 2025. He further praised Dubois for his win and then shares his future plan, which is knocking out Alexander Usyk in the rematch and then beat Dubois to become the undisputed heavyweight champion. In the undercard fights of this Riyadh season card, Anthony Kakachi beats Josh Warrington by unanimous decision to retain IBF Super Featherweight World title. He will now be ordered to defend versus mandatory Eduardo Sugar Nunes next. Josh Warrington took off his gloves and left them on the ring canvas after his defeat, appearing to indicate that he could now announce his retirement from boxing, some career of two-time world champion if this is the end. Joshua Botsy beat Willie Hutchinson by split decision to win the WBO interim light heavyweight belt and become the WBO mandatory for the Artur Beterbiev vs Dimitri Bivol winner on October 12th. Hamza Shiraz knocks out Tyler Denny in round 2 to win the European middleweight title. Demolition job. Shiraz's time for a world title shot has surely come. And the night was kicked off by a major upset, just like it ended, as the highly rated lightweight Mark Chamberlain is beaten for the first time in his career by Josh Padley via unanimous decision. In other important fights, Jamie Munguia comes back into the win column after the Canelo fight and knocks out Bazinyan in the round 10 in a fight which turned into an entertaining brawl. Melvin Jerusalem successfully made the first title defense of his WBC strawweight title via dominant unanimous decision against Luis Castello in front of his home crowd in Philippines. And Nina Mienke also won the vacant IBF featherweight title after beating Daniela Bermudez by unanimous decision in front of her home crowd in Germany. Dana White's guy Callum Walsh also got the second round knockout and received a huge $5,000 performance of the night bonus from his generous promoter. Although Callum Walsh purse is not released, but we can guess if the performance bonus is 5k, then what could be the purse? By the way, Jake Paul, who is campaigning for UFC fighters' pay increase, now vows to end his fighter pay campaign if Dana White increases the lowest pay to $50,000. Josh Barnett, in response, defends UFC pay system, claiming there is zero problem with minimum pay in the UFC. Paul's bitter rival Tommy Fury also showed his willingness to be Jake Paul's first opponent in the PFL cage after training with Tom Aspinall. And I know that you are not gonna like it, but September 20th is now officially Bilal Muhammad Day in Chicago. Now something from last week's No Shit UFC. Irene Aldana shared latest cut update from her No Shit UFC loss against Norma Dumont. And if you follow Fightbook, you know that Merab is not showing enough positive response to fight Umar Nurmagomedov next. So now Umar gave a very interesting take on it and said that he doesn't want to wait for Merab until next year. He wants to stay active and would take any bantamweight fight in order to stay active. I think he has forgot about Charles Oliveira and Justin Gaethje, who preferred fighting at UFC 300 instead of waiting for the title shot. After losing his belt to Merab Dvalishvili at No Shit UFC, Sean O'Malley had already announced that he needs a surgery and he will be out of action for up to a year. Now he promises to his fans that he will be back as he packs up his UFC title belt. He also takes a shot at Henry Cejudo by calling him a bronze Olympic medalist, and Cejudo also fires back with a furious response. Now something about the upcoming UFC 307 card. Khalil Roundtree's coach John Wood shared a bold prediction for their upcoming title fight against Alex Pereira and said that it would be Pereira who will shoot first in their title fight at UFC 307. In the previous video, we told you that Gene Silva accepted the short notice fight against Movsar Evloev after Aljamain Sterling pulled out. Now Gene Silva reveals that he can't accept the short notice fight as UFC staff and his doctors didn't allow him. So he calls out Evloev for a fight at UFC 309 instead. Talking about UFC 309 co-main event Michael Chandler vs Charles Oliveira, Conor McGregor said that he expects to fight out of the final 2 fights on his UFC contracts in 2025 and would still like his return to be against Michael Chandler. Chandler also believes he will still get to welcome Conor McGregor back to the octagon after his fight with Charles Oliveira. And Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, also has his sights on the Red Panty night, as he reveals that he would also choose the money fight against Conor McGregor over the title fight after beating Michael Chandler at UFC 309. Tell me, who do you want against McGregor, Chandler or Oliveira? And now we end the video with the best clip: Alexander Usyk meeting Conor McGregor at Joshua Dubois last night and then doing the billionaire strut. Link of the clip is in the description so you can easily watch it. But before that, like the video and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with the fight world. Now I'll see you tomorrow, so till then, do whatever you want.